Hello and good morning. It is February 26th at 8:50 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And right now I'm doing a video to basically add to a video I created earlier on the 2000 demon-possessed pigs that Christ threw off a cliff. So I'm going to basically just add a couple things to it that need to be added that I kind of neglected to add. So anyway, we'll get right to it. Notice how the pigs were demon-possessed. That kind of tells you that something bad's going to happen. Whether it be something bad in that year's going, or that year's a turning point. It makes it even more of a point of no return, like crossing the Rubicon almost. It makes it kind of like definitely a big event, which it was. So that adds to it. So the precipice, of course, is the point of no return, and the fact that they're demon possessed pigs tells you that something bad's probably going to happen. Okay, so we have that. So let's just get into what we have over here. And the thing is that what makes the... Okay, let's see if it plays. You guys are editing it, so I can't create a video then. Okay, computer froze. Not much of a surprise there, so I can't make the video then. Yep, not much of a surprise. You guys have total control over it. Okay, so the computer just froze, which is not much of a surprise there. It kind of skipped in the video, so we're going to get back to it and try to complete this video. If the computer happens to give me problems, we'll see what happens. What made 2000 a turning point even more, what I brought up before was the Afghan and Iraq conflict, or Operation Enduring American Freedom. The problem with that is what that did to the U.S. debt, or the federal government's debt. It basically made it skyrocket, because you had contractors, essentially military contractors, milking the U.S. government for contracts and then putting very little infrastructure in Iraq. And that's kind of what the deal was. They milked the government for like vast sums of money. It's much more than just McDonnell Douglas and Halliburton. So they did that. And the federal debt before then for the U.S. federal government was manageable. It was able to be, somewhat managed. But after that, we have this whole debate that the federal government gives us almost every year, where they have this contrived debt ceiling event, whereby they try to make us think that like the debt ceiling is going to get out of control. And so that's going to, and they convince us that they need to, like, there's going to be a crisis. They like to keep people in crisis mode and in fear factor, thinking that there's going to be some sort of a problem. So that's part of the why they have this fake debate every year almost of the debt ceiling. And they always increase the debt ceiling because it's a fiat currency debt. They can choose not to recognize it, really. And when they do begin a new system, they'll write all that stuff off. So anyway, long story short, basically, it was the 2000 pigs was also a turning point, because if you take 7 and you count up 7 from that, because 7's mentioned throughout the entire Bible, it's reiterated everywhere. Okay, it's in every single book, whether you have 7 sons, 7 days, 7 items, that kind of thing. It's mentioned everywhere. So 7's important in the Bible. And 7, if you count up 7 from 2000, it shows you when the Illuminati came out in the open. They came out in the open roughly in 2007. In 2008. Mostly 2007 was the start of it. Okay, and so they started to come out in the open and show their true colors. So we have movies such as Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The Order of the Phoenix, of course, Phoenix representing the New Order. We have a couple movies here that were kind of important. We'll go back to that one. The movie The Golden Compass was really important. It shows you the Access Monday. It also shows you them kidnapping kids and taking them to the North Pole. The Access Monday, you can look at other people's videos for that. I have a video series on that as well. That's a pretty important movie. We have movies where, people were proclaiming themselves to be God, Evan Almighty. That's not that big of a deal, though. But there's a couple movies here that are a big deal, such as The Number 23. The Mist has something occult to it, but I don't know much about that movie. Here we go. The number 23 is important due to the fact that it shows you some of the occult significance of numbers, such as the number 23. Has to do with Psalm 23. Has to do with 23 gametes in your body, that kind of thing. It's a very important movie. The other movie that came out then, too, would be room number 1408, which was an important movie. It basically showed the elites. It's a movie that shows you beta programming, monarch programming, where this guy's afraid and paranoid that people are going to kill him and his whole family, which is what happens when you're in the Illuminati, unfortunately. The other thing is that it shows you how to how to calculate numerology calculations, because in this movie, John Cusack drops the 0 from 1408 to make this 13. So he does that to basically it shows you how the elite conduct numerology calculations. Simply, you don't add the 0 in on the calculation. This is not 1400, 08. This is 1408. You drop the 0 to make that 13. And there's an occult significance behind 13, which I could get into if anyone wants me to, but I think I explained that in some previous videos. So anyway, we have that, and we also have this. Okay, so why is the number 7 important in the Bible? We'll also get into the occult significance beyond 13. So 13 also equals 1/3. It's telling you the same story over and over again. 13 is like 1/3 or a third of the angels that fell from heaven. Okay, so and 7 is why is 7 reiterated throughout the whole Bible? Because God's trying to tell you that there was this one event where 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven. So 133 is like 7 broken down. Okay, so pretty much that means that there's this event that occurred in Mount Hermon, well before the time of Christ, well before possibly was it like 3,500 years ago or so, or more so than that even, in which 200 angels and all fell from heaven. And this is why 7's reiterated throughout the Bible. God's just trying to remind you again and again that, hey, this event happened. There's one event, 133 occurred. So we have that. So 33 is a fancy way of saying 33.3, and 33.3 is like saying a third. So that's kind of like how it's a third, because it's a hidden way of saying 1/3, which signifies the 200 angels, or 1/3 that fell from heaven. So we have that. And they also conveniently fell to the 33rd parallel in Mount Hermon in Syria at that time. So that is interesting. So we have that aspect to it. So this is pretty much it in explaining what this all means. And I hope this video was informative, and I hope you guys have a good day, and may God bless you.